Alright, welcome back to the road to better chess. Because rating goals are arbitrary. We're back on 15-10 trying to improve our game a bit. We'll analyze, look a bit at the opening theory, see what we can do. Got white d4, e6, let's continue with c4. e6 is also an invitation to the French, which we might play with black a little bit now and then. I used to play it back in the day. We'll see. This is the second video we're recording in this format with this goal under this theme of road to better chess. The first one I was very tired and the game was nice, but the audio was not so good. So if anyone did see that, I haven't even uploaded it, but apologies if it's a little bit funny. Let's see what our opponent has to say against c4. So no acceptance of the no acceptance of the French opening. What do they want to do? You'll see we're playing in Zen mode as well, so I don't want to be wondering about my opponent's name or their rating or anything, or even my own rating. The goal here is to play a good game of chess and then to see afterwards if our thinking is supported by the game evaluation and or by the opening book. And that could be opening book for top-rated league chess, which I also think it's a good thing to reference, or actually master level. So we'll look a little bit at both. Okay, our opponent does not seem... Oh wow, okay. So walking into the Dutch. We actually played against the Dutch in the first game as well, so it looks like it's getting quite popular. But I don't think I'm going to change anything. We're just going to go ahead with the game as we go. My plan is not only to play the Fianchetto attack, just play a Catalan setup basically. But last time I actually played the Rubinstein, inviting them to play bishop b4, and they didn't. So we got a pretty easy game because of that, I think. But maybe we should just play a little bit more principled this time. Maybe we play knight f3 first, or g3. Which one do we prefer? Alright, let's not overthink it. Both of these moves could be good. I'm going to go with g3 first. Don't think there's any major problem with that. My thinking is that in the previous game, because of how it worked out, I ended up having d5 on the board and kind of disassembling the middle of the board in castling long. So if I play knight f3, I can't play knight h3 anymore, which is a move in some positions. Yeah, let's just keep on moving. Bishop first, so we get the long diagonal, and they still have to kind of declare their dark square bishop plans. We'd be happy... Oh, hello, c5. We'd be happy to have traded it off. But in this case, actually... Alright, so there's a few ways we can go. We can push. We can take. We can ignore it and play something else, and after they take we can recapture with a knight or with a pawn. We could also just develop the dark square bishop. I kind of like pushing, to be honest. We don't quite have e4 because they've got a pawn already covering it, so it's a little bit more tricky, but alternatively we just develop our dark square bishop. Yeah, we don't actually want to trade it for the knight though, because if they take back with their bishop on the long diagonal, that's quite strong for them. So maybe it's just a developing move. Yeah, actually I think so. Here, and then actually maybe they play knight up. We can still push. Then the knight has to jump somewhere. And we can put our dark square bishop out on this long diagonal as well. Yeah, I think it's okay. No reason to complicate. Happy to trade off the up, and they do take. Okay, gonna take back with the queen. Now they get a little tempo on us. Not the end of the world though. Could snap it off, but that seems a little bit silly. So we're just going to fall back. There you go. Alright, so Darkside Bishop's going to come out. Okay, well now they ended up doing exactly that as well. Tricky now here we can't because of this. So we could play here. We could also try and double. Maybe this is our move. Or here. Queen up, bishop out. We could accept double pawns, but then it's isolated doubled, which is a little bit less fun. Not exactly what I was hoping for. And if we play here, they can put some more pressure, but I don't think it actually matters too much, to be honest. We can slide our queen over. We're protecting everything just fine. Yeah, giving them a little bit of attack on our queen side. Perhaps we had to push. Alright, well, let's go here. We can also play e3 and knight e2. We can still play knight f3. We can also now do this. Actually, this might be really nice, giving us the dark square bishops. And if they fall back, then we can always continue with b4 later on. Okay, probably better. I don't think they should have taken. Alright, alright. How do we want to continue? Do we want to break with e4 later on? I think so. So we're just going to castle here. The point is that if we play e4 and they take, we can jump on knight out, whoop, this way, and double attack it. If they then push with d5, hitting some of our pawns, eh? So queen move might be good. That also defends here, but we could still castle. It's still defended. This can retake, it's fine. We could also just hit the queen directly. I don't like knight c2 because we'll have to trade here, although that's probably not the end of the world. What if we just castle? And then they take and then we take. They take this one. We go here, hitting the queen. Yeah, there's unfortunately no like amazing spot to jump into. The tweak can probably come. Oh no, the tweak can't come back there. So we'll be able to get in here. Where else can the queen go in that situation? Queen has to go back here. Oh, actually that's pretty good. Castle they take, we go here. Queen's only got this move. Then we go here. Oopsie daisy. Then we go here. Queen's got here and here basically, and this looks like it's a exchange for us over here. Sorry, over here. Maybe it's a little bit too tricky. We can always just push. We can always just play our knight over. Queen up, queen over might not be bad. I don't mind this trade so much. Maybe I should just play this right away, because then I also have this kicking the queen. And they still have to move this knight. I can drop mine over. Kind of like this. Yeah, coming in here, hey? I don't know. I mean, I've got this, and then you don't have any line of sight there. This seems a bit short. short-termistic, if that's a word. I could also just castle. You don't have an attack. So maybe I don't want to play this yet. Oh, you know what? You're also preparing for your dark square bishop to come out, aren't you? How much do I care about that? Comes here, still defended, can still kick, can still run over if I need to. This looks good, this looks good. Alright, in that case, if both look good, probably I should just castle. Could still kick the knight. Actually, yeah, maybe I should even wait for them to put their bishop first. Oh wow, they are really coming in for it, hey. Alright, this is with check, but I don't think I really care. Maybe this is the right time now, and then I can jump over here, hitting the queen some more. Yeah, I think I'm going to start taking some tempi on that runaway queen there. Thank you very much. We do have to be careful about our dark square diagonal here. The rook is still in the corner. The knight is defended, but it is a little bit vulnerable. Anything funny we can do here? We can take ones and we can push. We can avoid trading as well. We do give this square to them. It's not ideal, but we can go over here. This also allows this kind of idea, right? Which might be good. Alternatively, just jumping there directly. Jumping in allows us to bring our bishop onto the dark square diagonal immediately. Double attacking that. The idea being that if we can sink a knight, get a pawn on there, that's going to be a bit tricky for them. Could also just push this guy away, maybe they take once and then jump out. Then we have to move our light square bishop again, so not ideal. We can also take and put our dark square bishop here. The knight here, actually, it's getting kind of trapped, isn't it? Because here, and you have no way to defend it. Maybe take once. Maybe just don't trade. See if they do this jump themselves. Oh, then I can't put my bishop there because it gets... Then I have to drop it back. Alright, I think we've got a bit of a space advantage here, so I don't really feel like I want to trade the pieces. I'm going to go over here. Light square bishop activated. Light square bishop powers activate. Looking to jump a knight across. I do think we could bring a rook over to the c file as well. Queen c2, queen b3 starting to look a little bit more like there's reason to it. That pawn can't move anymore. This pawn can move, but I can actually break. Oh, this will drop it. I can try break a little bit. Here I also have an idea like this, but it doesn't immediately go anywhere. Still have this plan, followed by this plan. I still have e4 as well. Take, take. Isolated pawn, that's pretty good for me. Ah, you see, I think this is a mistake. I think we can trap this knight. Unless you're going to push there, then what do I do? And then I can take this? No, I can't. Okay, so maybe I drop back. After you push, I jump over. I can also jump back then that way. Yeah. So he's gonna put his Darkspear bishop there probably. Although again, I don't really mind trading their bishop for my knight, so that's pretty a good trade overall, I would say. Yeah, here it comes. So I thought this was pretty good for me. Take, take, and the queen's still defending the pawn. And I also get a check right here, which might be really, really good for me. Yeah, actually that's an immediate threat after my knight moves. So here, and also threatening it. If you push forward, I can still take here. Here you threaten me. Take. Then I'm basically up a pawn. That's so-so. Take, and then win the knight this way, maybe. Maybe this is the best move. Yes, I'll take here. There's no in-between moves with this knight that can't go anywhere that matters. After you take here, I can check you and pick up this way, or I can check you and pick up this way. I like bringing up my queen because I'm also hitting that knight then. And you still have no credible threats, so I think this is pretty good. Pretty good, okay. And now, let's pick up this knight. We're also hitting the one on g4. It probably goes back. And then the rook is a little bit misplayed, actually. Tiny bit. Not immensely, but oh. Okay, I think our opponent is just kind of falling apart here. I take, you take there. And I just kind of step out of the way. Or I just take this way. Oh, they resigned. Okay, maybe they realized their knight was hanging. Alright, GG. GG. I was also starting to consider maybe just taking with my minor pieces. But, you know, I don't know. Take here. You take with your rook. Then I have to save my queen. This looked like it was possible because I'm also hitting that loose pawn. Your rook's still hanging, so you can take once. You can check me with your queen. But I can walk out of the way. I don't know actually. Wouldn't this have been really dangerous? Take here, take here. Oh no, sorry. Take here, you take. I have to move my queen up. This was my getaway square. You take again, I take. Oh no, because the knight is gone. I was thinking, what if I can go here and you have a check because your knight's here, but it's not. Alright, GG. So before we look at the opening book and the analysis story, let's just have a look at the opening here. E6, invitation to the French. So we play E4, they play D5. And then we have a French, but I'm not interested in playing a French. I'm interested in playing a D4 opening, so C4 instead. And they go for the Dutch. Hanging Pawns has been playing a lot of Dutch recently. I mean, they're pretty popular stream. I don't know if that's why all of a sudden I feel like I'm seeing the Dutch more often, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, we went for what is called the Fianchetto attack structure, which is basically the Catalan. This has been a go-to for me in the last while because I didn't really know how to fight against the Dutch, and I don't want to do something like the Raphael. We played d4, knight c3. It seems really fun, but it seems like the kind of opening I should spend a bit of time on before I just randomly play it. So familiar structure, why not? The game would still be unknown and interesting to me because there's so many ways you can branch. Yeah, so we decided to develop the bishop first, and they played c5. And here I think I made a slight mistake. Probably I had to push. Um, Probably I had to push. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be like knight f3 was fine as well, but I think knight c3 I feel like was a bit of a mistake. So here I think either pushing or just knight f3. Probably if I didn't want to move the pawn, knight f3 was a good one. I played knight c3, but then I have to retake with my queen and it gets jumped, so I lose the tempo, which just seems unnecessary. So take tempo. And in this case also, it's well known for white and black that a lot of the time you just run your queen all the way back to the starting square, because that square tends to have, look at black already, have a lot of access to the board. So it's not the worst square, and you don't want to be within striking distance of more knight moves, and you don't want to block your own bishop and so on. So there are moves like this as well in some cases, but no. I think like the Scandi, obviously you also have like Queen A5 and stuff, but I'm not playing the Scandi, so that's fine. So back. Yeah, here comes the bishop, and now I gotta be careful because I don't want to get doubled c-pawns. That will be a bit of a headache, so I decided to just develop my bishop very humbly. Castle, and I figured if they're actually going to take my knight, I'd be really happy to spend another tempo to get their dark square bishop, because in the Dutch, obviously, dark square weaknesses are a little bit more obvious, especially if they play is it the Leningrad with g6? So if I can get the dark square bishop, that's great, but they just move it back. Alright, knight f3. Knight f3 is also because I was thinking about e4, right? Because I thought maybe I could do this, but actually I wonder if that would have not worked out. Um, let's just say in this position it's my move again. e4, they take, jump over. It's double attacked. Then they play d5. Then I'm not so sure because they have this pawn structure. I can take once, which I probably should. Then they have these two hanging pawns on the center. But they're double defending this one over here. So maybe I have to play f3 there. Let's look at the engine in a second. Alright, here, yeah, I mean, they have some ideas here to hit some pawns, and they did bring their knight over, but it was a bit premature. b4 seemed good, I get space, I also have c5 to hit the queen, to lower this space again, and I think here black probably went wrong. They needed to move, then maybe they needed to move the rook before the pawn, but they need to get their light square bishop into the game somehow. So this isn't a threat, there's nothing here. Even if this was a bishop, I would be very happy to trade a pawn and a rook for two minor pieces. I have learned over the years that active pieces far outweigh potential material value. So a rook and a pawn in the mid game is very, very, unless the pawn's like basically promoting or something, right? Very, very, very weak compared to a bishop and a knight. You definitely want the two active minor pieces. So anyway, they did go with the knight jump, kick the queen first. Yeah, I saw this earlier, and the point being that I would get this square for my knight, and I did use it, although it took a bit too long to think about it. I didn't like this jump, but then I realized actually the knight would get trapped there, because from here it doesn't have any good squares. If I move my bishop anyway, good squares to get out, except this spot which they just moved away from, and I thought I could maybe play f4 and e3, e4 at some point. So they come in, a little bit unfortunate to jump here. I thought here actually they might play their bishop out onto the long diagonal, and then I think, you know, I'm a little bit in danger. Probably I've got to play something like e3 first, um, just to keep everything safe. I could also jump a knight and then jump the other knight, but then, yeah, then I have to jump the backwards knight because the front one's defended by my queen. So I could have done this if the Darkswing Bishop moved, and that's a great outpost, obviously. Although they can take my anyway. But they push directly, and here you see that the Dutch defense's main problem comes out. You move the f-pawn so the diagonal and your castled king is open. Maybe taking that pawn directly wasn't the best move, but I thought it's pretty good. I also have this move directly, so take, and then take back. But I figured taking the f-pawn seemed pretty good for me. Although now, maybe in hindsight, maybe taking the e-pawn is better. I don't know. Which pawn do I have to get off the board more? I guess the F pawn is a bit scary because they might push it, and then I'm not sure. You know, there's versions where they push with F, but they don't actually have enough to do that right now, so probably it didn't matter. Yeah, so sacked it here and decided to go with my queen because I want to keep my bishop on the long diagonal. And here they play d5, and so I have multiple options here. I can go an en passant, I can take with any piece, minor or queen, because it's aptly attacked. But I was actually just going to take here, and then I was wondering if they move their rook somewhere. You know, they don't even have to take, right? They could actually just go back. My queen might be in trouble, so we have to check. Maybe this was a mistake. Let's have a look at the opening book then. With the opening book and the engine, we can run the analysis in the background as well. But first, let's just see how this looks. Yeah, so here, like I said, if we go e4, then we walk into a French. Alright, we don't want to, and we go to a classical Dutch, same as the previous game. And here, g3 directly is the move we did play this time. Knight f6 is good, and then bishop g2 is good. d5, c6, bishop e7, bishop b4, d6. Okay, okay. They went c5 though, which is not a mainline move. And knight f3, d5. Yeah, okay. So basically the two moves that we looked at afterwards and said this is probably best. Let's just see, at the top database, I like to put kind of this here, Rapid Classical in 2000 and up, just to see what they do. d5, knight f3. Yeah, knight c3 also happens, and it does seem to score pretty well, but yeah, clearly knight c3 is not the main move here. Okay, okay, so we're out of masters immediately. Knight f3, d5 is probably good, but let's go and see. Knight f3, they take, we take, knight c6, very clear, queen d1, yeah, it does look like the best. Taking with the bishop, definitely wrong. After all this, we do not give our bishop away for that knight. They just get a very strong pawn center, and yeah, we have nothing. It's very bad. Queen e2, I didn't like that. Queen h4, no, yeah, queen d1, definitely. Bishop b7, they went for bishop b4. Bishop b d2, that is what we played as well, yeah. Yeah, it seems like the best way to go. They castled, and then knight f3, yeah. a3, knight f3, knight h3. All the moves we considered. We played a3 first, and they did go bishop e3, and this is actually our game now, knight f3 as well. And here in that game they went a6, and then, but we had queen b8. Okay, and so up to here actually we're completely equal, zero advantage. Here we had a bit of a chance if we played the right moves, but we didn't. So we were very equal until they played queen b6. Yeah, inaccuracy. b4 is good. Knight g4, yeah, knight g4 also felt wrong, and this is, as I said, I felt this was a good place for me, and indeed the advantage is climbing, castling, and another knight move, knight c5, 3 inaccuracies in a row, c5, good move for us, queen e8, oh, and we had to take here. Okay, we had to take, so let's just have a look. So take. Okay, we're trying to open up, oopsie, we're trying to get in here, so like here for instance, okay, and we would just take the exchange and say thank you. They take, we move out of the way, yeah, we just up the exchange, that's great for us. Okay, queen, yeah, what are we threatening here? Just to get the rook out over the center. Alright, we're playing with the fact that we have all of the space on this side. Alright, cool. Alright, so we did 94, it's incorrect. Bishop c1 was good, and then e5 is a losing move. Correct. And the best way to counter this does seem to be to take the pawn. Nice. Glad to find that. So take the pawn, and then... oh, you can actually fork the knight and the rook, or you can fork the knight and the king, or you can pin the knight to the king. There's so many ways to go here. Alright, still best move it looks like. Take the knight, and here Yeah, let's just see. I think actually this might have been a mistake. What happens after this? Am I okay? I have to either take it or I have to run away and play g5. Okay. Alright, so there was a way to get out of it. Alright, but the best move was just to take the pawn with the knight, or the queen, or the bishop. Yeah, we're just doing great. Alright, pretty good. So we had an inaccuracy over here with knight d4. Wasn't apparently the right move, but pretty good. And poof, the game finished in what? 15 moves our opponent. Sorry, 18 moves. Our opponent threw in the towel. So good stuff. Another win, which is great, but also I'm very glad to see good thinking. A little bit of a mistake on our part with that opening where we did not use the pawn to push forward. I'm just looking here at my opening books for a little bit in the classical. Okay, let's just go over. Yeah, that's the version we have now, and we had d4 on the table here in terms of transposing. d3, d4 is a move. Knight d3 is a move. Yeah, this whole situation can still transpose, I guess. This is the more relatable move order we did without knight c3 and without the bishop coming to pin it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and this is obviously the thing that black always tries to take advantage of, this knight on e4. Even, for instance, if we try to play knight d2 to hit the knight a million times, they can play d5 and just kind of force it to stay there until we try and kick it with f3, in which case our light square bishop is a bit out. Alright, but I think back to the game, very happy to say that we haven't made any massive mistakes. A little bit, yeah, I think in hindsight I would probably play knight f3 here if I'm trying not to move the pawn. But moving the pawn was apparently also perfectly fine, right? So here, let's just go have a look. d5, e5, okay, pushing past, very interesting. Yeah, and then knight c3, the bishop can't come out anymore, d6. Yeah, we would definitely want to try and break d4, bishop, knight g2. Also looking at f4 at the right moment, castle, castle probably. And in this case, let's say they don't take. Do we take? Oh, we actually stop f4. Yeah, okay, we're just gonna crush up at the center, with the thinking being that we've got c4, d5 controlling a lot of the board, closing off the queen side on their point a little bit, and we're gonna try and take control of the game in the center here. All right, GG, another one in the books. See you guys next time, and always keep on improving. Bye bye.